BKB. So instead, they're going to go something else that's very, very capable of dealing with this Visage in the laning stage. Juggernaut, Lich, slow, lots of damage over time. I really like it.
Yeah, and also, again, back onto the Lunar, if it was something Navi considering, like now you really, this quarter comp matchup with the Juggernaut is not the greatest. So I like to pick a lot from VG Gaming. You've got some comfort. We've already seen the Lich, and that was the Polaris game. It was a Lich and the Marcy, and they had an incredibly strong lane, and this should be no different here with the Juggernaut.
Ursa, huh? I mean, I quite like the Ursa. Back in the day, Ursa offlane was actually something that a lot of teams did to be able to combat the Juggernaut, because he just comes forward for a last hit, you swipe him, and then he didn't actually have the little hop as well on his Q at the time, but you won out most of these trades, so I doubt that that's the route that they're going to go down. It's going to be even stronger against the Lycan versus the Jug in the lane, but really looking to play this super early timing, right? All you really need is the Blink Dagger on the Tiny. You've got a Visage that just needs the Helm of the Overlord, and then you've got an Ursa playing on Radiant with the Roshan advantage.
Yeah, I'm a bit concerned right now for Vici Gaming that they need a lot of items to be able to combat Navi, because we're going to see a very early Roche getting picked up from the Radiant side, and for Vici, you're looking at the Helm of the Overlord timing from the Lycan, potentially like an 18-minute Blink Dagger from Frisk on the Earthshaker. You know, Jug's going to need like Maelstrom Axe Shard as well, so whereas Navi, they don't need as much, which means they could get a lot of map control early on and slow down Vici. So I think this hero for XM of the 23rd needs to be someone that can kind of help control the tempo and get active early.
You think they might consider going the Ricky again on Navi for Sweden Strong? I think it's a possibility here, just because Lycan isn't one of those guys that loves to buy a BKB super early on. And if you could just sleep dart him, and then he just does nothing during the shapeshift, you're incredibly happy. It frees up so much space for the Silencer to be able to actually have an input into the team fight outside of just the global silence. He's done it multiple times.
Yeah, I don't know. Ricky's a very unique hero, so I think it, like you said, the sleep dart has value this game, and they have the flex with the Tiny later on as well. So they're gonna continue to hide where this hero is going to go and maybe pop out a scary Ricky later on.
I think every time it's been last phase that they've picked it up. Not necessarily last pick, but it's been last phase so far. So
have they done it? How many times have they done it so far? I saw it once.
Twice.
Have they done it more than that?
They've done it twice, okay. And they've done it multiple times during the Eastern Europe qualifiers. So we shall see. And for Vici, what do they need? They need their mid laner, still yet to come. Something that is going to be able to either buy an early BKB or something that likes to buy a Yule Scepter that's able to... I think they've got vision with the Wolves, that's the thing. So I would just be looking to go into something like maybe an Ember Spirit, just for some of that damage over time against the Visage. Something that's able to, again, pop the BKB and just solo down the... Silencer, and something with good sustained mobility against... Oh, okay, never mind. So they're really not wanting to... Is this mid Lycan?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure, actually. I think it is. This is something I really have not seen XM run. Like, again, he is someone that likes a lot of the playmaking heroes.
Because it
thrives on...
You either want the Viper to be a 1... Or is it, I don't know. Like, the Viper needs to be in the Visage lane. Period. I think. Oh, no, it can be in the Ursa or the Visage lane. It'll be totally fine. But you need the Juggernaut to be in the Visage lane, 100%. So, I don't know. I feel like, are they outthinking themselves a little bit here? Seems a bit odd.
We'll see what Navi look to go with the last pick. Again, we mentioned that the flex, where they're looking for a 2 or a 4. Viper definitely throws a spanner in the works here, because you don't particularly know. If it's going to be Viper mid, it's a bit awkward for the Tiny to go into that matchup with the Lesh. So Viper's got a lot of magic resistance with the Corrosive.
Who's playing what?
Looks it's going to be BAB on the offlane Lycan, so it should be a mid Viper for XM.
4 Tiny, okay. I mean, it's a good amount of burst damage again for the laning stage, right? It's really just about this, what can we call it? roller coaster, pendulum, that's the better word, where you're obviously going to be going for a lot of these early kill attempts with the Juggernaut Lich combination. Incredibly good against the Visage, who is very squishy, especially early on, because you have no armor. Gravekeeper's Cloak isn't that effective. The Grave Chill isn't going to help you with the Juggernaut running at you because he's spell immune. But as soon as that's not available, you could just turn around, level 2, Avatos combination with the Soul Assumption and the Grave Chill and easily look to pick up kills. So it's really just going to be how they're manipulating the lanes to be able to not give up too much at level 1, or who as simple as who's going to hit level 2 first, and then be able to get the full effect of their combination off.
Personally, what I'm excited to see in this game is just the Leshrac. This is something that felt like was going to be a very strong hero heading into the last chance qualifiers. The Bloodstone change looks crazy for this hero. We've already seen it played multiple times. I think Thompson broke some ridiculous records on it in his game. I believe it was versus Infamous yesterday. So something that we are yet to see in our cast. So I'm intrigued to see how no one's going to look to be able to play with it. He does not have really a defensive support behind him, which I think is a big way to enable the Leshrac, where you've got like an Oracle and an Io, just someone to be able to, even a Coddle for good measure as well, someone to maybe help out with a mana or just help out with your survivability. So we'll see how the Leshrac's able to shape up here, but this is a very, very important game. Navi, they've only lost one map so far. That was in day 1 against Polaris. They are 5-1. And for Vici Gaming, again, they are 3-3. They just got 2-0'd in their previous series versus now. So they need to start picking up some victories here, or they might be forced to be starting in the lower bracket or potentially playing in tiebreak as well, depending on some other results. But Denog, how are we feeling about this game one? Do we feel like someone has a bit of an advantage after the drafts?
I'm going to have to look at the drafts again, to be completely honest. Let me have a look. I mean, I feel like you're set up to have a really good... I think it's pretty even in terms of the laning phase, right? Jug Lich should beat Visage Tiny. Mid lane Viper doesn't lose to too many. The Leshrac will be able to at least shove out the lane and trade farm, but I feel like Ursa's going to have an exceptional time together with a Silencer in this Lycan Earthshaker lane. So it's going to be really dependent on Frisk if he's able to start to manipulate some of these lanes, get some of these lane pulls happening, because it is the dire off lane, right? You're able to pull it behind the tower and really nullify a lot of the effect of the Ursa in the laning stage.
Solo. Just watching the body blocks from the walls, unfortunately. Not enough there from BAB to allow an angle in for the fissure. I think with how you were just mentioning this Ursa lane should be pretty strong here for Vici. I think for Vici, with how they're going to look to address it, double melee, you need to play for pulls. I do not see how they're going to be able to play head-to-head into this lane matchup, so it's going to be off the back of probably the micro coming through from BAB with the Wolves, because he can drag the waves. And Frisky hasn't gone boots or anything like that, so it might be a little bit more difficult for him to do that against the Silencer.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, the thing is, you're not going up against any stuns, right? You're just going up against a couple of slows, and Silencer's already so slow to begin with that I think you can afford to do it with the Earthshaker, but yep, using a Wolf is just as effective.
3 bounty runes to start though for Vici Gaming. A little bit of gold into the back pocket. We'll see. XM, this is someone who I'm really excited for him to be able to kind of showcase his talent on this stage. Someone who hasn't really had the opportunity, has really been in and around the tier 2 China scene for quite some time. We've seen him in the likes of really, he started mainly with the top side. Gotta make sure I don't miss no kills. I'm speaking about the boys of Sweden Strong. Erica's in trouble with a Soul Assumption, but they're gonna win out of the man fight. Ice will still be able to claim the kill nonetheless, so it's going to be a 1-for-1. Yang draws first blood, however, and he's going to try and get back onto Lice. He's got another Frost Blast if he can get in range. But the movement speed from the Visage would just duck into the tree line.
I like the fact that they went for that on Navi. They just clumped up a little bit too much so that the Frostbar slow actually connected onto both of them. And so they had that 30 attack speed slow. Of course, Tiny already attacks incredibly slow to begin with. It just meant that they weren't able to finish that one off. So nice little first blood coming through, but I would say more importantly, it's Lies picking up the additional experience that's far more important.
And bottom lane, this is really, really big for Vici Gaming. Frisk got the hard camp pull.
Oh, that's huge.
And BAB, he's got to drag the creeps under the tower because it is pretty much a triple wave here. It doesn't have really the capability to keep it outside the tower range to try to hold some of the equilibrium, but this is very important for the Lycan to be able to get as much as what he's getting this early on.
Yeah, I mean, Frisk even used the Fissure to just secure the big creep in that creep camp, so he's doing everything right now, just influencing the lanes, and I know it's super early on, but all of them looking like they're being Vici favored. Just being completely bullied out of the lane as well. Luckily enough, he had his bottle delivered to him. Water runes coming up, so he's going to be able to refill that one. And it looks like he might be going for completely pulling the lane away, or he's going to try to, but wasn't able to secure it. And that's what the voice lines are all about.
I wonder what the build's going to be out of XM in a game like this. Do you feel like we're going to see any difference out of the Viper, or is it really just the cookie cutter build?
I think it's just pretty cookie cutter. I mean, you just want to be able to stay as much at range as possible. So I'm expecting a Dragon Lance coming through here. You know, who knows? Maybe the nosedive could to show his face. It's a possibility.
The best scepter in the game.
Oh, it's so horrendous, man.
I would like to see Vici get in a position where they can try and shut down no one from getting the water runes and eventual power runes as well, because at the moment we see how no one can play this lane. It's solely off the back of getting lasted with the Lightning Storm. So if you just being one person to try and get rid of that next water rune, then you can really limit how much a Leshrac is able to get out of this lane.
Yeah, it's going to depend on how the other lanes are going, though, right? Frisk has done another good job of making sure that the small camp isn't there. Are they going to get a kill on solo here? No, never mind. Just on the wrong side of the Fissure. And actually looking to consider a turnaround kill. But yeah, with the lane pushed up this forward, I would be a little bit anxious about wanting to leave the Lycan in this Silencer Ursa lane. He might still consider it if he could get this creep pull off. Again, it would be very surprising if he was able to accomplish that, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be the case. And it's just the single Bull Assassin as well in that small camp, so he's not even worrying about blocking it up.
Top lane, Lice. It's getting dived under the tower here with the Blade Fury. Not going to be enough damage. No one TPC top, but that's a big kill for them to find, and now they'll be able to catch out Yang as well. A great movement coming out from no one, and he'll be rewarded with the kill onto Yang.
Might even, well, never mind. XM's got to get moving, though. You're going up against a Leshrac with boots. Looks like you'll be able to at least deny that water rune. Not that XM needed it, but, I mean, that's a way to fix what is a pretty losing lane for you so far, is just go somewhere else, especially if they make that sort of rotation. So good call from whoever made that one.
Still a 700 net worth difference already between no one and XM, but just the fact that Frisk in a little bit of trouble here. Ichium with the help of the Orb of Venom slow, along with Solo's second point in the Arcane Curse. He's not going to tick out, however.
Yeah, they were really banking on getting a few more of these kills out, right? He's got the early point in the Glaze of Wisdom. Of course, you want it for the Intelligence Steal, the Permanent Agi Steal. But Last Word probably would have secured that one for him. He's got the Mangoes to be able to accomplish it. Speaking of them, he just pops them. Wants to try and pull this creep wave. Don't allow BAB to get more farm than he has. I mean, the fact that he's even remotely close to the Ursa in farm is a really solid thing for Vici right now. And we mentioned before, like, you've got this Viper, right? You're there to win the lane, but you're not like a Puck or a Spirit Hero where you're making these rotations around the map. So, sorry,
bottom lane, BAB. As soon as they see that Frisk has left the Lycan, really nicely done from Solo and Vitune. They instantly try and move on forward, putting pressure onto BAB. So we'll force a TPR.
No stuns though, right? So he can just make that TP, not even all the way back to base. He's already, with that early farm, got the Helm of Iron Will.
River. Nice avalanche toss away, but Frisk with the position he's in, looks to hold him back. He can get just in range for the Enchant Totem, and Yang will even claim the kill. Unfortunately, XM's not going to get it. That's not the worst death though, because the important thing is that VG Gaming, they were starting to get themselves set up for a push onto the tower, but that completely wastes the catapult advantage that VG were playing with, and now no one. He's going to get another free wave under the tower.
Yeah, he's got 3 free waves right now, which is something that a Viper doesn't want to let happen quite so easily. He's level 6 as well. Basically, he's still a little bit behind, of course, in terms of experience relative to the Viper, but in a much better spot than he was previously. So the thing I was saying before was, with the Viper, you're very immobile. You don't want to be moving somewhere else. You want to be setting yourself up, and then your team just pushes around you. The fact that you've got a Lycan who's going to get this pretty early Helm of the Dominator into a losing lane, unless he dies here, never mind, it means that more of the map gets opened up for this slightly greedier draft. You know, you mentioned during the draft that they need a few more items than Na'Vi do to be able to get truly active. So if that's the case, then it's a real big win for you, because you get that extra 5 or so minutes.
It is also a bit of a different look, though, in regards to how Na'Vi can play early, because Vtune is going for this Battle Fury. So he feels like, and I don't blame it at all, because the Ursa does have a very good late game matchup versus the Juggernaut. So he feels like he can scale in that quarter core matchup. And the Leshrac as well is not going to be able to hit kind of some of the early game timings that we see out of this hero off the lane. So it might be a bit more of a slower pace game from Na'Vi.
Still look, BAB just getting more and more of this free farm. Sitting up there ahead of the Visage and the Leshrac. Should be very happy with that. He's also got the Helm of the Dominator coming out to him. He's level 6. If they wanted to make a play happen, they certainly could. They're looking to try and make some movements out around this power rune. Well, it's a valuable one. Great stun.
Oh, the fissure. Someone needs to get the DD. You'd love it on the Viper. They'll toss him further away, but it doesn't matter. No one's going to go down. And now Sweden Strong's in trouble as well, as BAB wants to show up to clean up the party. He's got the shapeshifter chase solo down. The crits are not enough, but those 2 kills should help out with the tower siege now.
And what a fantastic stun coming through there from Frisk. Lands onto 3. Even, I mean, if there was anyone, of course you want to give it over to the Viper, the DD, but you don't hate to see it on an Earthshaker as well, with that Enchant Totem just absolutely pummeling into these heroes and the tower.
It's a big tower to find now. Again, Radiant needs some time now with how the lanes have gone and the way they're looking to itemize, and the Ursa wants to be farming up in the jungle. The Leshrac's looking to try and get some catch up with the jungle. But this tier 1 tower getting claimed. Well, BAB actually off to the right side. Now we're going to be able to surround the Lycan. Vtune, actually, in fact, it's solo, so some plus intelligence given over to the Silencer.
Got to be careful about dying too many times against the Silencer as the Lycan. You don't have the biggest mana pool to be able to play with. Erica, though, even with those 2 deaths, he's doing just fine on this top side of the map. They're actually going to look to potentially go for a kill onto Liars, but he's got the Boots of Speed. He had the Grave Chill as well if he needed it. And of course, the Birds really does deter any kind of aggressive movement too far from the Lich. Speaking of Lich, might be falling down here. Not quite close enough, though, for the Soul Assumption to truly start to stack up, and that probably means he's going to live.
Oh, look at the Frost Shield damage mitigation. Ice will attempt to TP up, but with Frisk's positioning, you can stop that instantly thanks to the fissure. Beautifully done. Only 1 point in the Frost Shield, but so much damage mitigation against the Birds.
It's a fantastic ability. I mean, you don't want to grieve getting at level 1 just because you're not putting any kind of harassment on, but level 2 onwards, it's just exceptional for being able to provide so much control.
So both sides have these offlaners that want to be taking objectives. When are we going to see teams start to group up to try and bring down the safe lane towers?
Again, Vici's was all based around like getting caught in, Na'Vi getting caught in that poor position, right? Top side. Looks like they'll be able to get a kill onto Yang. Not the worst. But I still feel like Vici are going to be the ones more patient. You know, they need to play around the shapeshift as much as they can. They need to play around their ultimates a lot more than Na'Vi do. Na'Vi basically have 0 ultimates outside of the Global Silence, right? Erica's kind of up here on his own. He's going to need some assistance, but looks like he'll be happy enough just to spin TP out, but I don't think it'll be enough to save this tower. And now, with this tower likely to go down, you see that's when V2 makes the movement up towards the top side. He's going to have a couple more camps to safely play around, and of course, you always want to be located close to Roshan whenever you're an Ursa.
Yeah, nice read from him. And meanwhile, mid lane to the remnants of the tier 1 tower. Frisk and XM be able to kill off solo. Just looking to try and soak up as much experience as he possibly can. And that wave does give him...
push someone else back mid as well. This is the siege creep wave, so at the very minimum, they're going to pop the glyph, you would assume. But that does open up a little bit for Vici to potentially, again, win another team fight and use their pretty decent sieging potential to be able to take away a lot more of the map. I mean, this is a Ursa that's fully committed to going into the Battle Fury. So if you're losing these tier 2 towers early on, that's a really bad look for you. You can't farm all of those camps that you want to with that additional farming tool.
You do see how much farm that Vici is actually getting though. Second in net worth, having a very good time, and they one more component towards the Battle Fury. And his counterpart in the Juggernaut, Erica as well, is off to a pretty good start. Already one component towards the Maelstrom. Very close to that last one being the Mithril Hammer. So both carries having a good time here in this game one.
You'd say that's what they're waiting for, right? Like, they're very close to picking up. I would say about 3 minutes time is what Vici are looking to play around. Nighttime for a little bit of that reduced vision. You've got the Lycan Wolves that are able to scout people out, and then you're going to have Helm of the Overlord, Maelstrom, as well as a Dragon Lance available for your team. That's enormous.
Do you feel like Navi, is there anything shortly we could see out of them? I mean, Sweet and Strong's nowhere near the blink. Your Bloodstone as well is going to take still quite some time for no one to get towards it, so feels like for them they might just have to play this a bit passively. Sweet and Strong should be killed off here. Vici Gaming going to find another kill onto a support.
They're not that far away from the Bloodstone, right? He's got the Arcane Boots, you could disassemble them.
That's a good point.
So he's basically only one component away, just the recipe.
Yeah, okay, actually, yeah. Not going to take too long here for no one, considering how the lane shaped up. It is, what, 4th in net worth at the moment, 2-1-1. No one's actually doing a very good job to put himself in a position where he can combat this mid-game that we're going to see come out shortly.
Mm-hmm. You've also got the lads basically finished up on Lies as well, so you can have those two timings link up with each other if you want to. But it's really just, it feels to me it's like Vici need to step out of position, and that's when Navi can punish them. They've got a good lineup for punishes.
Just both supports are going to say hello to each other. Nice, along with XM, we're nearby. Gang's still going to try and drag him back as the rest of Vici is starting to connect. This is a lot of ultimates expended just for the tiny. BAB's even going to use the shapeshift. But they need to get an objective off the back of the kill, and well, they should be able to find the tier 1 tower top.
Makes that Roshan advantage not quite as strong though, doesn't it? They're able to just take away all of the tier 1 towers. Remembering they do have the glyph, but if you're able to put a little bit of cheeky observer wards up that, or invade this area for an Ursa who's got the Battle Fury, I think you're very satisfied with that.
Yeah. Just a slight economy damage that they can do with Erica taking the Ancients.
And someone needs to come in this general direction.
Nice smacker with the Familiar is going to push him towards XM's position, so there was no follow-up with the Fissure Stun.
So you've finished Hurricane Pike, actually, for XM now. You are 600 away from Helm of the Overlord, and you're working into a Manta. So I would say probably, maybe you could look to make a play with the Yasha just on its own, but you really want that Manta style to be able to get rid of the Grave Chill without using your spin, as well as to get out of the Global Silence.
Oh no, they're going to burst themselves?
This would be enormous. I mean, look, it's immediately once it gets to nighttime as well, right? So you're able to use that Howl to be global. Really looks to just keep those lanes pretty easily pushed out. Yep, instantly uses it as soon as it goes off cooldown just to make sure the lanes aren't in too bad of a spot. Really big movement coming through there from Vici, recognizing the strengths that Navi want to be looking to play around, and yeah, they give it to the core that again just wants to plant his flag and be able to say, hey, fight around me, guys. You know you want to take out this mid Viper early on, but they're not going to have the ability to do it anymore.
And I think for them, Vici shortly are going to look to make a play where they try and smoke down bottom, like XM's already TP'd down, because that is where they want to start controlling now. There's tier 2 towers probably next for them to claim, and if you can get some outpost control as well, it's going to be very important. Now without Roshan, you don't have to worry about the top side of the map, so I think we'll shortly see Vici look to bring more of their forces down here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you could just have the lanes passively pushing out as well. I think that's the Helm of the Overlord completed. You've got an Ancient Thunderhide. So, I mean, you pop that buff onto the Juggernaut, he Omni Slashes. It's an insane amount of damage.
Oh, it's not with lead, so not getting too far out of hand here for Na'Vi. They are keeping up in farm, but the question is how much can the Aegis be able to claim for Vici Gaming?
And also, like, what are they actually going to do in the meantime on Na'Vi? You could see 4 heroes all clumped up on this top side, but they really don't have the same kind of tower-taking potential just yet compared to what Vici have. They do still have that siege creep on the top side, though, which might help matters a little bit, but bottom lane, all you really need to do is drop the Nether Toxin and just use the creeps for this sieging purpose.
It seems like Na'Vi are at the moment a little bit more like current initiation based, where you use the global silence whenever someone jumps, or because Sweet and Strong doesn't have blink, so you're kind of just waiting for someone to overstep and maybe you get the toss back into no one stun. But until you really have this blink dagger on Tiny or even blink dagger on V-Tune once you finish the BKB, they're going to be more of the reactionary team.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before. The Na'Vi are basically relying on Vici to get into a bad spot and then look to engage onto them because they've got good pick-off, especially he's not really close to picking up that blink dagger on Sweet and Strong, but if you get the toss back, you break the formation really easily. And, well, they're saying, well, at least we forced a couple of people up top. We know they were bottom. We know they TP'd. So let's make this movement around the map and try and get a pick-off on the right-hand side. I'm sure they might be asking no one, just, hey, show yourself in mid, see if you can get a little bit of a bait going on.
Well, this Observer Ward's big.
Oh, yeah. EAB would be a fantastic target.
And have an Observer Ward top of the outpost as well, so they see them completely split on Vici Gaming. Sweet and Strong's going to toss back XM for the moment, but they don't get the follow-up.
They were too early.
Oh, no. Completely break the initiation. Now, Vici Gaming, this is time for them to be able to move towards the area as XM trying to stack up the poison onto V-Tune. We're forced to use the ultimate. Doesn't want to use the BKB defensively, however, but it will not be required with the toss away.
That would have been an enormous kill, and I'm sure they're aware that there's some kind of vision up here, so we can see BAB. He's walking back underneath it, but I'm sure that's priority number 1. Just get that D ward off. Lies has to be a little bit careful here. XM, he's got the Aegis to play around, so he's not worried at all about just showing himself in the lane.
That is not. Initial stun, Frisk already playing with the Aghanim Shard.
And again, they have to be cautious about, do they use this glyph or not? They've already lost the T2 tower.
Oh, Sweet and Strong, he finds a pretty good angle onto Frisk. No messing around with the use of the global silence. They want to take the Earthshaker out of the equation and continue to stall this Aegis advantage that Vici are playing with.
Okay, alright, something. But, again, they can just look to go back in, right? They're still going to have the Aegis for a minute 15. You've got the Earthshaker with the Aghanim Shard, so he's able to have an influence there, just looking to walk back on BAB, get the Ancient Black Dragon, maybe look to make another kill attempt happen. He's even going the Aghanim Shard, wanting to keep those lanes pushed out passively, just constantly have them moving and moving and moving, and force some more defensive movements out of Na'Vi because they know that they're in a stronger position right now. Yep. Look at that, instantly making the way back to mid. Erica might look to push out one more wave and then TP to mid or even walk his way through. I'm kind of surprised that the Observer Ward lasted as long as it did, and, well, it's just going to expire instead.
That's nice for Sweet and Strong, though. Philosopher's Stone given over to the Tiny, so closer towards the blink. This tower should end up going down. Yeah.
Might even... Do they consider tier 3s? 15 seconds on the Aegis, probably not. Still though, 2 towers really removes a big portion of the map that you can look to farm on V-Tune. That's why he's all the way up on the top side. Might even run the risk of getting some significant damage into this tier 2 tower, which would be great for the second Aegis timing. I'm sure they've got it marked down that, hey, this is the timing that we need to play around. It's 3 minutes minimum.
It's just a lull in the game, and you see one team use some voice lines, the other team instantly uses some back as well. Sweet and Strong down bottom. This is really nice, an important kill just to slow down this Tiny blink. Erica's going to be rewarded with it. And the Juggernaut that hasn't been involved too often. Meanwhile, no one caught out as well. Now this is a bigger kill. The Leshrac, the Bloodstone, it's on cooldown. It's going to be back up shortly. He'll get the active off, but not enough damage The help out there. Oh, Yang to be able to connect. And Vici Gaming, all right, 2 kills across the map.
Not good at all. Yang just wants to push this mid wave out a little bit. Yeah, they're going to use that. I mean, they don't really care that the shapeshift was used. You've got a bot lane pushing in with the siege creep. You know they don't have the glyph. I'm a little surprised that they're not actually looking to try and push up onto this high ground. The defense isn't amazing. Maybe just thinking that, well, he's got the Philosopher's Stone on the Tiny, and maybe he had the Blink Dagger at the time, but he didn't. But now he might.
I don't know if I just saw that right or not, but I think Solo has like the 3rd highest damage in the game.
Oh. Well, that is surprising.
I think I saw like, wait, let's take a look again. He's got the highest on his team, which is kind of nuts, and he's 2nd highest in the game. What? What? Good old Arcane Curse maxed out.
It's the great
This is big. They just got the blink. Smoke off from Navi. They've got no one in the tree line, but look at Vici's positioning. Do they dare this higher ground? There goes the familiars. They know exactly what's happening on VT game, and they're going to look to continue to back up. It's sweet and strong. He's in with the avalanche, but the follow-up's not there. Instant use of the BKB, but they do get the Lycan off to the right side, though, so not the worst start here for Navi. Can they follow up? XM on the retreat. He's still got the Hurricane Pike to get some distance if required, but the Blink's back up shortly from V-Tune. They're going to try and set up the Yules into the Split Earth. The Global Silence will disrupt the combo, but a great timing out of the Hurricane Pike, but V-Tune is going to jump on forward as well. Locks onto the Viper, will make sure he doesn't escape up the stairs as Navi. One good fight from them, and they cut the lead in half.
The double Blink Dagger reveal, not just on the Tiny. It was a great use of the Sinister Gaze as well, just disrupting that toss back, making sure that you were able to get that quick kill. But have a look over here on BAB. They scout him out, and that's instantly what V-Tune looks to jump onto. Don't think he had the shapeshift at the time. Yeah, he didn't. So there's no way for him to be able to get away. They're looking to save the 4-star for some of these other heroes that had the potential to look to still contribute into that team fight. Are they going to let Solo get this one for free? I don't think so. And with the DD, he should just look to fall down pretty damn easily. That is an incredibly quick Roche respawn, by the way. It's already up. It was about 5 seconds.
All right, well, this is... Like, Navi need this second Roche. Again, nothing has changed with Ursa in quite some time. This Aghanim Shard is incredibly important on the hero. Second Roche on this hero, you very much rely on it. So if Navi do not get Roche again, they are going to be very far behind Vici Gaming and what they would expect out of this lineup to work with.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that they haven't immediately gone for it already. Maybe just waiting for that Ancient Thunderhide to be able to come through, but you know there's no Global Silence for the next 40 seconds. So it feels like that's the big thing holding them back right now. They've got the Manta style for the Dispel. They've got the spin as well to be able to have a bit of a greater influence into it. But they're just looking to be perhaps a little bit too passive. They maybe go for a bit of a de-warding mission first. Understandable. Not wanting to give anything away when you're in this high-risk situation. And yeah, it's only then when they feel confident with their vision. But look at that, Sweet and Strong just finding himself in that little nook there, dodging out the scouting from the Wolf. Means that he's able to get back to safety underneath their own vision.
They're going to group up,
Who'll
Navi.
V-Tune jump onto?
Smoke spot, V-Tune jumps instantly onto the Viper. Look at the bashes coming out as V-Tune will rip them apart. Now no one is going to try and get up to Erica to get a lucky bash. She's not there fast enough, but once again, a successful skirmish, and Navi can now look to claim the pit.
Great jump, great movement from Sweet and Strong, just playing around that vision incredibly well. And this is this Dota seems a lot more even today relative to yesterday. You really felt like there was a team that had set themselves up for success about, what, 20 or so minutes into the game, but this one is still anyone's.
This definitely puts Navi in the driver's seat, though. Like, again, this lineup very much thrives on having second Roshan, and the fact that they have it now means that Navi, you can rely on V-Tune to carry this game. This is a incredible Ursa game. You match up very well versus the Viper. You match up very well versus the Lycan as the game goes on. And now with the... I mean, the Viper you don't particularly care about. With the Scepter change, like, again, I'm going to continue to bring it up, man, every time we see the Viper. That was a big reason of why this hero would have some late game kind of utility with the Scepter where you could control heroes through BKB. That is not the case anymore.
No, for sure. Just got to say as well, this is his 7th unique hero out of 7 games for VTune, so
Oh, wow.
clearly, you know, just again showing that versatility coming through there. That is the thing though, with this Aghanim Shard that was purchased up by the Lycan, it means these other lanes get pushed in so much more heavily. You don't really have amazing capability to deal with it with both the Visage and the Silencer. It's a little better for Silencer now that you've got the base damage, the initial damage rather, 100, but it still doesn't make it easy.
Feels like we're going to have to see some pretty big things come out of Frisk in these fights. 2-1 and 8. Had a lot of impact in the game so far. Got this Blink to work with. Even the Tumbler's Toy is going to help out a little bit with his positioning, so...
Hello.
See how much damage is able
We've
to
got
do.
a little friend that hasn't been in the game for a
yes.
while. The old Harpy Scout coming through on this bottom side. It's very clear that Vici are wanting to be playing around this. Let the OS Frogs fly in the chat, but there are not heroes, really, that are going to be able to take this tower with all the vision that you're giving. So a little bit surprising that they've gone for this.
Maybe they were trying to set up for a pickoff onto the left track. There were some other heroes starting to connect with Frisk, but...
Yeah, XM was all the way back on his side of the map, though. He's still a big part of your damage at this stage. Lies just gives up one of his familiars for free, which is a little bit surprising, but will cause the resummon to come out from Lies, and I'm sure they understand that, so that's going to be the big priority for them on Vici Gaming. Just try and focus in onto Lies or even the familiars. You're going to be happy enough with that, just because, again, that is a big portion of their own damage output. Speaking of that, he's getting close to finishing up the Aghanim Scepter for himself, so he's going to become a lot more slippery. Silent as the Grave. It's a very effective item, but just kiting out these abilities like the Omni Slash, you could potentially look to disjoint it. You just run away from the Shapeshift. Same sort of thing from the Chain Frost.
Who do we feel like the Visage needs to kill instantly with the Scepter in these fights? Because he definitely will have that potential to blow someone up. So who's his target going to be?
I mean, I don't think he's going to be doing anything on his own, right? You've got VTune with the Blink Dagger, so he's going to be able to connect through onto whoever, and it's basically just going to be a joint effort. You've even got the Tiny, right? So much burst capability. You don't need to commit the Leshrac first into a lot of these team fights.
Speaking about the Lesh, no one's even gone the Blink Dagger route. And I like this item pickup with the Blast Rig. Definitely Leshrac is a hero that is very vulnerable to physical damage. So that extra 7 armor, along with potentially the mischance that can come out as well, is going to be very beneficial for this hero to be staying around in the middle of the fights. But it does look like from either sides, try and split up the map here. Vici Gaming to top, trying to put some pressure onto a tier 2 tower. Radiant have Glyph if they want to use it. The tower is going to end up going down, and on Navi, they'll get their own trade as well.
That's some respect coming through from Navi. They're just saying, look, we would much rather have that Glyph refresh for the tier 3 tower, especially now that they're actually looking to go up onto the high ground. You've got a 2-level disadvantage against VTune with the Aegis, and
Oh, sweet and strong.
nice force.
Are they going to turn it back around? The Great Fissure with the damage coming through from Erica. They get an easy kill onto the Tiny. Again, though, BAB uses a Lycan Shapeshift. Wasn't particularly required, so it is an ultimate expended. We'll see what else they can get out of this now from Vici. This VTune is showing 40 seconds left on the Aegis.
And that was a big bird that made sure to get that 4-star through. Ends up falling at the end.
Fisher from afar. Onto no one. Let's see if the damage going to be enough for the Chain Frost bouncing back and forth. VTune is going to be cautious, but the Global Silence going to cover the retreat. Man, with the backstab though, Lies is into the middle. Targeting down the Lich, turning towards XM, but Hurricane Pike protected with the BKB means the Viper will be able to get out.
What's the vision look like right now? They see VTune just farming this wave. It's got 15 seconds left on the Aegis. I was wondering if Frisk might look to try and go for a bit of a sneaky play there. Look to Echo Slam him just as it looks to expire, but well, while he's under the cover of smoke, that doesn't seem like his main priority. Switches in the Silver Edge and they've found him out anyway. Oh, they see Erica.
Yeah, Erica's in trouble. VTune needs to get lucky, but a Manta to be able to get some space. Nicely done from Erica. VTune's still hunting.
Don't know about that one.
Do Global Silence on cooldowns, so they're gonna think about the higher ground. They do push very fast from Navi. Not going to be the case going to a Lich and a Viper. Very difficult with the turnaround as well with those Shaker up shortly. So they're going to look to try and deal with their lanes. Top is something that needs to be addressed, and no one will do just that.
Yeah, I mean, he's very close to picking up the Boots of Travel, so again, this is something that we've seen players do very well so far during these qualifiers. The itemization always seems to be on point, and when you're going up against this lineup that's constantly going to have these waves pushing in. I mean, look at bottom side, right? You've got double wolves there coming through from the Aghanim Shard, so Vichu goes there and deals with it. He's got the Battle Fury, he can do it. That same sort of thing with the Boots of Travel on the Leshrac. It's a lot later than some people might get it. Never mind, he switched into going for the Aghanim Scepter, and I'm completely wrong. But it's understandable, right? It means that you apply that ethereal form onto other people, and you're able to dodge out a lot of the damage coming through. I mean, look at the cores. Where is the damage coming through if not for physical?
Dire's courier has been killed.
See what they can do here from Vici Gaming. They started the game off well, but Navi are the ones in the driver's seat. 5,000 net worth lead. The map continuing to be all theirs. You see how sweet and strong and Lies are playing. Gonna try and see if anyone's home by the triangle, but Vici Gaming are aware of this.
Oh, an Arcane Rune. No one loves to pick that one up. He's established a 3-level lead right now over the Viper. I was about to say 4, but he's basically level 17. And he's even picked up that Arcane Rune for himself. They still do need to consider just this top lane, constantly pushing into their base. That's why he's just making sure to keep running around that sort of area, even looking to commit a lot of spells just to try and deal with the Ancient Thunderhide. It's a game of tag right now, and well, he's it on BAB's Thunderhide.
There's something I've always wondered. Why do you get 254 gold? What's going on there?
Good question. I saw 250 before, so maybe it's a bug. Game's in beta.
Bug. Beta game. Come on.
Or they were trying to bait there as well. With the Juggernaut illusion on the top side, he manted and sent it out first, but didn't take the bait there on no one.
I'm still very concerned for Vici Gaming. I do not think this lineup is going to scale. The only way I can see them winning a team fight, this might give them a bit of an opening with the butterfly now. You're not going to have enough time to answer in this next fight without an MKB, so it's going to be that and a big ultimate out of Frisk if they're going to win this fight. The look at Sweet and Strong. They're in still with the Echo Slam, but there's going to be no fall, but the Global Silence disrupts them instantly. Erica's going to try and charge in the middle. He'll bring down the Tiny, but meanwhile the higher ground, no one in Vichu, and it's running down XM. And BKB along with the Vision will get some distance away. Back towards the left side though, but the Omni Slash is completely being nullified. The Yule Scepter along with the Gravekeeper's Cloak mean that Erica will get no damage out with the ultimate, and now Vichu will re-enter. A blink onto the Juggernaut, stopping him in his tracks. And the rest of Vici, they've got to get out, but Lies along with Sweet and Strong, they're on the prowl and they'll catch up BAB before he's able to enter the high ground. Another member of Vici going down, and they're not done just yet. There's no one looking for more blood. Onto the Viper they go. XM down, 60 seconds without the core, and Frisk as well is in trouble as Vici Gaming will lose all 5.
Lose all 5. Unfortunately for Navi, though, they can't take the base. All the lanes pushed in very heavily, but for their benefit, they're going to find a DD on the bottom side of the map, and Roshan respawning in 1 second. And what is he going to have in his inventory? It's that nice Refresher Shard. So give that one over to Solo. And then he's even starting to, we saw, deal significant damage in the early stages of this game. He's going into the old Hurricane Pike for himself. Really wants to keep the theme going. Just look at that. Sweet and Strong jumping in onto multiple, forcing in a lot of these early abilities. And Navi didn't make this play until they had the Aghanim Scepter available on no one. I mentioned before, if you've got the ethereal form for yourself, there's really nothing the enemy team can do, but it turns the others into the enemies, into ghost form as well. So unless you're popping something like a BKB, which a Juggernaut isn't going to go, or the spin, you're just not going to do any damage to anyone else on the team as well. So the only person they got out of that entire engagement was the Squishy Silencer.
Solo giving over the Refresher Shard. Ages on to Vichun, and no one on the Leshrac has the cheese as well with a 15,000 net worth lead. Navi looking to continue the hot form that we've seen out of them.
I wonder if Solo might want to buy one of these items now, because as things stand, he does not have the mana pool to global Refresher global now that Refresher's got that 200 mana cost. Actually, he has it right now. He has 1 extra mana now than what he needs now that he leveled up to 15.
Oh, nice observer board from Radiant. Look at the information they're getting. Featuring in, oh Yang, that's not a position. Maybe it's actually a decent TP out location. He'll escape. Meanwhile to the north though, Erica trying to target down no one. Viper strike out as well. No one's in some trouble. The Bloodstone active is not enough. The Less Strike's gonna end up going down. Erica did drop the Omni Slash for that, but Navi still feel like they're in a position to take the team fight. Once again, they're XM with a beautiful Hurricane Pike to get enough distance away. Vici Gaming, do they want to continue on for more? They don't have the greatest vision in the lane, so Navi will be able to retreat safely.
Gotta be careful with where you're moving, Vichun. No detection just yet. Looking to heavily commit with multiple heroes just to be able to take back that outpost. Some sort of control, Vichun. He's ready to hop down the cliff if he needs to. Might look to go for a solo pickoff instead, but again, while all of this is happening, look at the lanes. Top side is having to be addressed.
He's not going to, is he?
Oh, he's considering it. Maybe on Erica?
Maybe on Yang, maybe on Frisk, maybe on BAB. Let's go for the Lich instead. Oh no, they force it back over. He's got the Glimmer Cape, the detections out with the bashes as well. Vichun, he went for the individual play, but they don't even get rid of Yang, and now he's in trouble. Nullify doesn't connect. Frisk gonna jump on forward over to the other side. Lands the Echo Slam, but how can they set themselves up for round 2? With the BKB, it's still on cooldown for the Global Silence. Beautifully utilized once again from Solo. Will give them enough time to reset after round 2. Now they can consider about how they want to go back in. In fact, it's Vici Gaming that are moving into the middle. Erica will find Sweet and Strong inside the river. Vichun's going to initiate once again, but BAB gets some distance thanks to the shapeshift. No one's going to teep into the middle. You got to be cautious about the Less Strike with the BKBs already used prior. No one's going to try and target down Erica, but a use of Blade Fury will give him some distance away. A blink as well to get out to safety, but no one continuing the hunt. The Less Strike has got plenty of ways to catch up to the Juggernaut. And in the end,
the
Navi
mid lane, though,
will be able to catch up.
Is just pushing all the way in. They took a range racks while all of that was happening. Just the power of this annoying Lycan shard, man. They nearly had that one on Vici as well. Finding that great pick-off, some good spell usage coming out. Even just the split-second use of that Global Silence was actually so influential. They were clumped up really heavily together for the perfect Chain Frost to go off.
I think Solo's feels like every Global Silence with the amount of impact we've seen. It's been incredible so far. I've been very impressed with his Silencer performance.
Yeah.
I wonder... They did just get a Spell Prism, probably more beneficial on the Less Strike, but I wonder if they do consider.
I want you to watch on this replay, like where they're looking to move here on Yang. He's like literally mid-cast of the Chain Frost when the Global Silence comes out. Like it is perfection, the amount of timing that Solo has. That's what years and years of experience and grey hairs does to a man. And of course, you know, the Ghost Scepter kind of doing Sweet and Strong in a little bit, but if you're able to get the turnaround and find the higher priority kills after the fact, there comes the Chain Frost, but unfortunately it just bounces around onto nothing.
I mean, no one is proving to still be a very big issue for them. Struggled in the lane matchup, but we see how he's been performing afterwards. He's about to hit level 25 as well. One needs like 25 experience, so we'll get that out of this lane. There you go, 25. Even another member, Solo. Even got the Octarine to work with.
Okay. All right. You've got plenty of cooldown reduction coming through. He even has that flat 25-second Global Silence cooldown reduction as well. So it's all the way down.
Wow.
What up?
I'm just amazed at how low it is, because always one of the big criticisms about the Silencer is your ultimate cooldown. 56 seconds. He's about to be level 18, surely. That's crazy.
And he's going into the Refresher. Probably one of the heroes that doesn't mind holding onto a Refresher shard these days, now that you can't just backpack it and have the cooldown tick down. Silencer, he needs that mana regen.
What are your thoughts on... While we have a little bit of time, what are your thoughts on Silencer being played as like a 4 instead? Like just in general, where you have a little bit more priority, where you can get experience, and it seems like level 15 is like a very big time for him to get that 25 reduction.
I'd say a lot of the strong offlaners these days are ranged, and so I'm feeling a little bit less inclined to do that. And also, you're not really a rotator, you know? You have no movement spells, you have no stuns, you're so immobile, and you're kind of squishy as well. So I think for me, it's like 5 and maybe a core if it's like the perfect game and the enemy team doesn't have any kind of gankers.
Yeah, I think one thing we were speaking about off screen is the fact that, like, at the moment, games are going later and later. And even though the experience was changed, it's going to take you a little bit longer to get to that level 15. But 40 minutes in, this silence is going to have a lot of effectiveness in team fights. 56-second cooldown in global silence. Yes, the ultimate can be counted in a lot of ways, but yeah, they haven't really itemized for that. Not many Manta Stars, not many Lotus Orbs. So, and we saw what can happen prior. Pretty much every ultimate I've been, out of solos, done them a lot of work. We'll see if this is going to be the case in this next fight as well as Vici Gaming. Erica's going to jump in straight onto no one. There's the global silence as well. Instantly out. It's going to give them a way to be able to reset the team fight. A lot was forced out from Navi though. No one used the BKB. Global silence expended as well. So Vici Gaming, if they want to consider about going back in, they definitely can, but they need an angle.
I mean, they might be happy enough just to try and shove these lanes out a little bit, right? You've used the shapeshift, so there's no one really that can look to go in onto the front lines. It feels like Erica, whenever he's made that Blink Dagger play, it's been to have like a bit of a spin, TP escape, but, well, you obviously can't do that against the Basher, the Abyssal. Yep, mid lane with it pushing in. Vici makes the full-on rotation back, nearly level 25 for himself, so wonder what he's going to go for here, if he's just going to lean even further into that fact that you do most of the time have the better end of the matchup against the Juggernaut, but providing enrage to everyone in the 700 radius feels kind of nice too. No matter who gets focused on, as long as you jump in and just press R, you're pretty happy.
Don't even remember this being in 25 talent. But 7.32, they changed it?
Sure, let's say
this
that.
one. Sure. Liars? They have detection. Look at the information he's providing with the global silence out as well, but the Viper's instantly got to go down. No XM for the team fight, and Sweet and Strong is on to Yang. Vici Gaming, they need to cut their losses. That'll stop at Lich's life. Erica's actually considering about going back in, but doesn't see an angle.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Bottom is
not.
getting shoved.
Oh yeah, it is. They've even got the Ochre Bruiser there, the biggest mallet I've ever seen in my life. Someone's going to need to address this. They're going to look to try and push, and with these buybacks, I think they're going to be able to.
They know that no one is not here for the moment. Can always rejoin with the boots of travel.
And it's
I'll
just
buy
a
back
Lich
on Yang.
buyback. So, not a core. I think that's very well worth your time commitment, as he did eventually go into that boots of travel with all of those team fights going so effectively for no one. He has got a luxury of riches right now. Still holding on to 6,500 gold. Plenty for the buyback. Could even look to go into something like the Aghanim Shard just to make that sieging onto the high ground that little bit easier. You can't really commit into it as the Viper or the Lycan or even the Juggernaut outside of your spin.
Oh, okay. Ooh. See what they're able to do here with the Hex. It's, I suppose, not going to be easy for him to... How does he really get in the middle? I should say, how does he, like, because you got to be really quick. You need to jump in and then Hex. If you're going to run in and Hex, and you do have time to react.
Yeah, you don't really see a Lycan going Blink Dagger too often, though, do you?
No, you don't. Jump in from no one. Not going to catch anyone out.
I was thinking maybe he can, like, backpack the Trickster's Cloak, use it for the invis, and then run in. But even that would be quite challenging.
Do you feel like Vici Gaming are at a stage where they have to consider about just looking to avoid team fights and playing for Rat? Because you do have, again, like, there's only a melee racks mid, bottom's completely open as well. Do they have a lineup where you feel like they can still 5v5 in Sweet and Strong?
That's a heavy
It doesn't get the initial stun. Ghost Scepter's going to help out for the moment. Blade Fury soon to expire, but they've got the damage to secure the kill. Buyback coming out from both supports, but Eric is completely alone. And the Juggernaut, he doesn't have a way to rejoin the team, as Navi now can look to clean up as no one's into the middle. Chasing down Yang, soon to be a dieback, but the Lich will just escape. I think they're going to have the capability to bring down no one. This Leshrac, a difficult person to kill once he has his Bloodstone active.
And they don't want to leave this lane. It's such a rarity to have the mid lane pushed in when you've got a key pick off. They're going to consider going into Roshan, and understandably, I was thinking, is anyone on Vici going to be able to walk out and see that bounty rune on the bottom side of the map? He's only 90 gold short right now on Erica for having that buyback, but it doesn't seem like Navi are going to be able to accomplish too much despite getting such a huge pick off.
I'm going to answer my question prior. I really feel like Vici cannot 5v5. I think you are too far behind, and I think Na'Vi have, again, the global silence, like we mentioned a lot, and the Ursa matches up very well versus a lot of the cores. I really feel like Vici Gaming need to set up the side lanes and start trying to rat. I really struggle to see. Yeah,
how do you do that?
Yeah, that's a great question, but how do you 5v5? I don't see a way.
Look to try and greed it out and not lose too much, and then get this wolf bite on BAB that he's got queued up. Give that to the Jug. Full man mode in the middle of a team fight.
Do you reckon they can delay the game long enough for this?
Probably
Scepter?
not, but I don't think they have the heroes to split push either, so it's kind of like pick your poison. Lich nearly level 18 though. It's going to give a nice little damage increase. I mean, we haven't seen an amazing Chain Frost yet. A big part of that has, of course, been Solo, like we're mentioning, using some great global silences.
We got the blessing from the Roche. Does it 4th one drop it still, or they changed that?
I want to say Lesh got it and he sold his Ags.
Yeah, okay. Shard once again on to Mr. Solo.
Probably more likely
Got a
that
lot of
Ursa got it, and then he just bought the blessing on the Lesh. Anyway, they go for a smoke here, but it's under the coverage of a Lycan Wolf, so they're going to need to be careful not to get too far out of position, because Sweden Strong's been fairly on point with a lot of these repositions. I mean, it's something we were talking about all throughout the day, and just being able to find a way to split up the formation of a team fight.
Lane. They're onto the OSR. Instant use of the global silence, so it's not going to mess around with any opportunity for them to try and blow out V-Tune.
Can they get that reposition? Looks like they're just waiting for the other connecting cores to be able to actually get that kill. Sweden Strong. Doesn't seem like they feel comfortable enough, and they're using the walls really well on BAB just to scout out a lot of this movement. They know they're there as well, because V-Tune's getting blocked into these trees. They know exactly where he's looking to position, so I wonder if they might look to try and maybe make a play up top, but they're both under cover of Invis, so you just can't see anything outside of the Ursa on Vici.
It's just wrapping from top to bot. No one TP's in, then Sweden Strong starting to move down.
Just growing the net worth further and further. It's not like they really need too much else, though. They're basically 6-slotted. Someone's going to need to show mid now. This mid lane pushing in, top lane's pushing in. It feels like this is the first time that this has happened the entire game. Lane's actually in a good position for Na'Vi. Even bot, not too bad. No one with a level 25 talent. The Diabolic Edict explosions. Some of it being tanked up by the Wolf.
Well, they're going to jump on the fissure.
They got the ghost.
Damage coming through very fast to try and bring him down. They'll secure the first life. Lyce very split for the team as well, so Frisk going to try and jump in with the Echo Slam and the Omni Slash as well. But Lyce is okay. A Gravekeeper's Cloak is going to be able to keep him alive, and now they can turn it. Na'Vi, they've tanked up the initial spells. They just have to be cautious about the buybacks. One will come through from Erica. He's instantly going to jump on forward. They know that the Stone Form was used prior, so Lyce is going to end up going down. That's gem dropped on the deck, but a heavy commitment from Vici Gaming.
It is, but they still haven't lost anything in terms of the lanes. They're still just going to be in a pretty good spot for them. And you have to actually expend the refresher shard as well coming through there. So Solo, even though he's level 20, and the undispellable arcane curse, he's going to need a little bit of time until he picks up that refresher orb. So it's just another case of rinse and repeat for Na'Vi. They know that Vici probably aren't going to do anything crazy. They're going to still look to play kind of conservative, at least until that Juggernaut hits level 25, because they just feel like they're lacking damage right now. It causes a very heavy dive to try and get any kind of kills happening.
Looks like Visage tried to recover the gem, which they just snagged it up from Vici Gaming.
They buy another one.
And they're like, all right, I'll just buy another one. Why not?
Money bags.
What are you? Yeah, they're stacking up the gold right now. And no one doesn't know what to... Well, I guess he does know what to buy. It's going to be overwhelming Blink next here. Solo.
Aegis, Outburst reclaimed by Sweden Strong. Yeah, he's under the cover of his ninja gear, but no buyback. And there's only 2 heroes in the game that have it right now, and it's Visage and Ursa. No one's close.
What?
What are we wanting?
Have you seen the win probability?
Yeah, I'd agree.
41,000 deficit. You reckon they have a 21% chance?
Yep. Have you seen these lanes?
Okay. All right. Vici Gaming, let's see what you got. Let's see what you got.
They just saw that they had the Visage Familiars resummoned, so this is actually a really big deal. I mentioned before that Lies is one of the only people, and there's a few more that's come up since then, that have the buyback. But if you kill him, even if he buys back, he's not going to have the Familiars available. So it's a case of, do you leave the base now, or do you wait for that timing that I was mentioning before? Erica, he's hit his level 25. They've even got a Satanic.
Right.
Well, they're hitting some timings for sure.
Oh, not BAB's choreo.
Could be worse. He doesn't quite have the Ags yet, so at least he hasn't lost that.
Just to send himself packing on the other side of the map. Looks like Lies trying to... Again, it just feels like NAVI are back in this position where they're just sweeping from bot to top, top to bot, seeing if they can catch out any stragglers, but Vici Gaming... There's some gameplay from them. They will make sure that no one leaves their home.
Just having a look as well. I'm going to have a peek at it when the next creep wave spawn for Vici. Just wonder if the level 20 talent, the feral impulse damage, actually impacts the uncontrollable wolves, because they're not technically under the control of anyone. It's spawned up top. So looks like he's got the feral impulse on him. So if you just went that level 20 talent instead, you could just go further down the rat path and, you know, maybe try and get these other lanes just pushing out even more heavily. Only 150 gold away from being able to get that point booster. Using the creeps to do your biddings. Will they venture out just with their bodies, considering he doesn't have that courier respawning for the next minute and a half? And looks like they will. Smoke up, get the Aghanim Scepter, give it over to the Juggernaut, and see what he can do. All in play coming through here from Vici. Even picking off Solo would be pretty enormous, honestly.
Yep. You take whatever you can get when you're this far behind.
There we go. Instantly pops it. How Solo's fingers.
Not fast enough. Fisher to be able to follow up. Solo's going to go down, so they won't have a global silence now for the team fight. There's Vici Gaming. Let's see if they get more. No one's actually going to jump into the middle. A Viper Strike should enable them to retreat, but Vici just blows up the Earthshaker. No Frisch now without a buyback, but XM and Erica, the combination. Look at the damage. Erica. Oh my lord. The Wolf Bite will expire, so he's going to have to back on up. Vici will pounce on the opportunity, recognizing that Erica might be vulnerable for the moment, but Vici used the BKB and he got nothing out of it. So Vici Gaming, can they push forward for more? They got the Wolves stalking the Ursa.
You can't.
No detection once he enters the cover of the Silver's
There's no reason to
Edge.
fight right now without the global silence. That's the thing that you need to be waiting for, and they'll even see a double damage up top. Any bottles in the chat? Doesn't look like it. So Vici, he's just going to look to pick that one up for himself. That's what I'm talking about. They have the potential to come back into this. It just requires the right sort of pickoffs at the start of these team fights. He went the
I think a lot of it
on BAB, so it didn't go the feral impulse unique style that I was maybe thinking.
Dire are scanning.
Top lane. XM is alone. They're trying to wrap all the way around. Let's see if XM's going to be able to stay alive long enough, and that's not the case. Vici with a double damage room just rips apart the Viper, but they're going to go for everyone else instead. Sweet and Strong, a cheese, but that will not be enough to keep him alive. Look at the tiny kill, and BAB's looking for more. Vitri's already on the retreat, no one as well. I think the Frisk brought back, right?
Yes.
Rush is up. See what they want to do. I think now for NAVI, it's just going to be looking at with how much commitment Vici need to put into the fights with this Wolf Bite. That feels like it's a big fight condition for them. If they're ever going to win it, Erica needs to be bidden. So for NAVI, whenever they see that, if they can back off and only lose one and then go back in afterwards, then they'd be very happy.
Just trying to think if there's anyone that would be more beneficial to holding the the ascetics cap as opposed to the lich, because that's a pretty useful tool to be able to have against the global silence, just for that 40% status resistance. I guess, considering it has the cooldown, and if he's in the right position on the backlines, that's the first debuff that's going to be applied to him. So you know that you're always going to have that status resist for the global. Here we go. Going to go in again. They don't have the Wolf Bite applied to Erica just yet, but looks like that's what they're going to be looking to play around.
Smoke's gonna pop.
They got to do it ASAP. There we go. Where's the blink? Who's he
Oh
going to
no.
find?
Oh, Vichun actually jumps in. They're going to try and target on Yang for the moment. Let's see if the Juggernaut's going to be able to man-fight Vichun, but the Global Silence gives an opportunity to try and push on forward as no one's on to BAB, and there's nothing they can do to keep the Lycan alive. It's Vichun, he's still hunting. No one's even going to jump in as well, seeing if they can catch out some stragglers. Vici Gaming will be able to make it back inside the base.
He would have normally Yule-Scepted him, but he's just too damn farmed. He doesn't have a slot for it. He's got Boots of Travel level 2. He's got level 30. Ag's Blessing consumed. Ag's Shard. Absolutely everything you cannot get a more farmed Leshrac than no one right now. Real question is who do you give this one to?
Who doesn't?
Solo.
It's Solo like, oh, I'll take the
Yes.
Scepter. Let's go.
Give him the Scepter.
This is, I think, his third refresher shard of the game. Not that it has too much value with refresher orb. I suppose it, yeah, I mean, it doesn't particularly work out too much anymore.
It'll be fine. Who else are you going to give it to, really?
I think he just gave it to Sweet and Strong. Bottom lane, no one?
You could just
On a man
1v2
fight,
here.
yeah, I think he's gonna win this. The Diabolic Edict damage. Erica's in some trouble. Blade Fury's back up. The rest of this team is starting to move to no one. Vichi've got to get out. A TPR, Erica. Oh, in the tree line. No one, no way. Oh, the stun's just not there. And out there come the goons. Yang. Oh, the only person left down bottom. Meanwhile, Vichun, he got some buildings and also got a kill on XM. So he's like, all right, I don't need the boys with me. I can bring down some of the members on Vici.
Yeah, and they were able to keep this moved around. I mean, they know what Vici's priority is as well. There we go. This is the last ditch attempt. Shapeshift coming
Erica
in.
is going to jump in onto Sweet and Strong. A big ultimate out of Frizz. They're going to try and turn to deal with Vichun as well. He does not have the Aegis. They're kiting it back and forth, but no one's now entered the fight. And as soon as the Leshrac shows up, they need to split away from the Disco Pony. They don't have the capability. No one gets multiple kills, forcing out some buybacks out of Ichi.
Back on up. 3 buybacks left remaining in this game. Leshrac, Ursa, Visage, all 3 cores on Navi's side, meaning that they're going to feel very comfortable going in onto the high ground if they feel it's necessary. Might just wait that 30 seconds for the global silence, though. And continue to fix these lanes. No one... I mean, we just saw how tanky he was previously on that bottom side of the map. He feels very comfortable just solo pushing out on the top side. Could it be the tier 5 items that bring Vici back into this? Because we're only a minute away. You know, some crazy Book of the Dead, some, what is it, Arcanist's armor for some of the damage reflect going back into the Ursa. You know, Giant's Ring, never know.
This is probably the biggest net worth lead I've seen in a very long time. Oh, Jug? Look at the stun control afterwards.
Well, no,
Die back
game's
out
over.
of Erica. And now this should be all she wrote. Is underneath the tier 4 towers. BAB. Yeah, the G's are dropped. As NAVI continuing on with their really strong start here. We hadn't seen them so far on day 2. But their first game will be no different from day 1 in the performance we've seen from them. They're going to be able to take this. It took a while. 73,000 net worth lead in the end. But they'll take it just before the 60-minute mark.
Yeah, they didn't want to let any of those little possibilities really come into the equation there. I understand it. I think they were very patient, but understandably so. Vichun, not a single death that game. Really feels like you would probably have to give... I would give the MVP over to him. I know no one was an absolute beast. He did a crazy amount of damage, but for me, it was Vichun in those clutch moments along with Sweet and Strong, finding the ways to jump in and burst down. That double Blink Dagger reveal completely turned this game around.
Yeah, that was the exact team fight I was going to bring up, because that was at the stage where Vici Gaming, they were really starting to get a little bit of map control out of it, where they found that first Aegis as well, taking it away from the Ursa lineup. But like you said, that Blink Dagger fight around the triangle put NAVI in a position where they could be able to turn this one back around. And for Vici Gaming, we saw signs of life for them, but unfortunately just, NAVI look a little bit too crisp.
Yeah, I think they were expecting maybe the mid lane to go a little bit better. Even just the small things, right? Like no one making that rotation up towards the top side to get those 2 kills in the laning stage. This was one of those instances where, unfortunately for Frisk, he uses the Echo Slam, only connects onto 1, and the follow-up damage just isn't quite there. Get another great use of the BKB and the Blink Dagger by the Ursa. They just don't end up connecting into more than just Silencer right now, because that was the fresh pickup of the Aghanim Scepter for no one. Everyone's in ethereal form himself, the enemies, and it just means that no one's going to die. Not no one. Nobody is going to die.
I mean, this is a person who you would expect on such a tournament like this to be able to show up big time. Of course, we haven't seen him at TI in a little bit here for no one, but someone who has definitely performed at some high caliber events, and with what he was able to do, just making those plays even though the lane are difficult for him. So I mentioned at the start that I wanted to see how the Leshrac would be able to shape up, because it's something that we've seen a lot in other streams and that have success on, but we haven't had the opportunity to cast a Leshrac game. So yeah, this Bloodstone build and no one in general showed that the Leshrac is pretty strong hero at the moment.
I was impressed with Lies as well. I mean, we just saw in that fight that's on the screen right now, you got the Ravage coming out from the Familiars, landing in onto 3, means that everyone's just able to reset, go back in, allow the Blink Daggers to come off cooldown, and then look to re-engage, pick off the most important heroes. And I mean, it was just too much at the end of the day. More than 6 slotted, basically 7 or 8 slotted on both the Ursa as well as the Leshrac. There's no way that you're going to be able to deal with this, Wolf's Bite or not.
Yeah, it was a crafty attempt from Vici Gaming towards the end. You mentioned that you still felt like they had the capability to be able to show up in these fights, and they really, that was their only avenue. And we saw that be the case with the BAB going into the Scepter route, and they were starting to very minorly get a couple of kills. I mean, they were still very far behind, but just nice to see, at least from Vici Gaming, being able to try and find, even though that 1% chance to potentially have a way back in.
It's a bit of cope,
yeah.
We try and be as unbiased as possible, but at the end of the day, Na'Vi just had a complete stranglehold over that game. And if you're playing a Viper mid and you don't just dominate the game, this is what's going to happen, right? And I think that's a very worthy MVP going through the V-Tune. Great spell usage, great itemization, great map movement to prevent this consistent rat play that they were going for on Vici. And of course, that